So, when the political left in America is upset, it's perfectly okay for them to take to the streets and riot and break things because they're not getting what they want. This is beautiful. Have you heard any complaints, any concern whatsoever about the violence that is taking place from left-wing pro-abortion nutjobs? No, we haven't heard a word about it. This is sanctioned because the mainstream media, they agree with all these people. How about during Black Lives Matter and ever since? I mean, they were trying to undo our way of life. They were breaking things, burning cities, burning police stations to the ground, and this was somehow righteous? Yes, it was. And the mainstream media, they explained it away. They were spin doctors, and they remain spin doctors for the political left.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
Is that not amazing? Really, this, I know it's a couple of years old now, but this is iconic. This says so much. This is what they do. Explain away, spin for the political left because they agree with them. That chaos was, what did he say? Mostly not unruly. Yet a couple of clowns walking around the Capitol, this was the existential threat to American democracy. It is completely and utterly unfair. It is wrong. And it's happening all over again. Yes, the political left, they are upset. So they are breaking the law. What you're about to see is law breaking. It looks like a protest, but this kind of protest is against the law outside of Chief Justice John Roberts' home. And Justice Kavanaugh's home. How would you feel if you lived in this neighborhood, by the way? And what they are doing is actually against the law. I'll show you the law in a moment. But first, look at what Justice Kavanaugh has to go through.
Go back. We will not go back. We will not go back. We will not go back. We will our bodies. Our bodies.
So it's very similar to what they were doing at Roberts' house, a big mob in front. Now, granted, it's not violent. And you know what? In America, I do believe you're allowed to turn out and say what you want in the streets of America. But technically, what they're doing is against the law. I'd like to show you the law. Pickets or parades in or near a building housing a court of the United States or in or near a building or residence occupied or used by such judge, a residence occupied by the judge, juror, witness, or court officer shall be fined or prison not more than 1 year or both. Now, obviously, this is not being enforced. And you know what? In a way, I'm okay with that. Sometimes there's prosecutorial discretion. But I'm not okay with this and the entire book being thrown at anybody who even looked at the Capitol on January 6th. You know, again, protesters on the left are essentially allowed to do whatever they want, even when it doesn't serve their interests, like this past weekend when they tried to and successfully interrupted church across the country.
Women can't be free. Abortion on demand. Respect us. You want to respect us.
Yes, you guys want respect. We want respect too.
We want respect.
I understand that.
Really, try to imagine if these guys were wearing red MAGA hats and were from our side politically and were trying to disrupt the peaceful assemblies, activities of liberals. There would be outrage. They'd be throwing people in jail. They really, really would. You remember what they did to folks who turned out at the school board meetings, who got a little hot under the collar? They called the FBI. The FBI was thinking about treating these people like terrorists. This stuff really happened. By the way, I want to be clear, as you heard a moment ago, I do think it's okay to shoot your mouth off in public, no matter what side of the aisle you're on. But look at what happened in New York City. You're not allowed to go into a church and disrupt it. I love firefighters. I love emergency workers, cops. They're all great. Some of them said, you're not coming into this church, okay? You're going to see a protest. Then you're going to see guys at the front of the church who are not letting people in. They say some things that aren't necessarily politically correct. Maybe they're a little bit wrong, but I give them a lot of latitude. Take a look.
Not the church, not the state, the people must decide their fate.
I'm the people. I'm the people. I am the people. The people have decided. The court has decided. You lose.
And they say no choice. We say no choice.
You have no choice. Not your body, not your choice. Your body is mine, and you're having my baby.
Okay, so some of the things he said I think are totally fine. I am the people. The people have decided. You lose. This is all fine. He's just a guy. He's not the president. He's not a senator. He's just volunteering to keep these people out of the church. You have no choice. Your body is mine. I mean, look, it doesn't matter. It's a free country. And I think what he's getting at is the baby. Well, we want to protect that life, okay? You don't get to choose to take out a baby, to put an end to a baby. That's what he's talking about. And I think it's reasonable. What do they want to do, though? They want to fire this guy, this total civilian, this stranger, this guy. They want to fire him, right? Let's fire the guy. Hey, FDNY, these guys, do they belong to you? And of course, our liberal woke mayor in the city, they totally flip out looking for this guy. Ready? The comments made do not represent the views of the FDNY. Excuse me for a moment. What are the views of the FDNY? The views of the FDNY should be anti-fire, right? Be opposed to fires everywhere, but not take positions on hot-button social issues. But members are allowed to do that on their own time. Next, of course, we've got to make a federal case out of this, don't we? Ooh, the individual in the video is not a member of the FDNY. Really? So then why this? Next up, we have the matter is under investigation. Well, doesn't that drop the matter, right? If he's not, it's kind of ridiculous to put ordinary people through this. You're allowed to say things in America. And one of the rabble-rousers on the left clamoring for this guy's termination, stranger, never met him, he can say whatever he wants, is Amy Siskind. Have you ever heard of her? She has a BA in economics from Cornell, MBA from NYU, worked on Wall Street for 20 years, and is said to have made millions of dollars, okay? Now, she's a lefty. She's into all these woke causes. Free country, good for her. She's a millionaire, by the way. And she puts this out there to the white men who wanted to get involved in this conversation. As a white man, it's time for you to listen and amplify women. Nothing more. She was talking to some guy who speaks like this. This is an uneducated position to have. Nobody thinks like this is crazy stuff, but this is the woke left. Here's something else. This is the woke left. They want to defend abortion in New York City and beyond, but take a look at these statistics. I found these shocking. I had them checked. I had them double checked. In a 4-year period, terminated pregnancies of black mothers in New York City, 136,000. But look at this. That number supersedes the number of births from black mothers. 4 years. What the hell is going on? I don't know. But I do know that the woke left and their fierceness on this issue is misplaced and misfocused.
How dare they tell a woman what she can do and cannot do with her own body?
The very lives and the health and the safety of women and girls are at risk if they do.
This is setting women back in so many different ways with so many different consequences.
It's about whether women in America have a right to make these decisions.
It's about keeping people in their place, and that means keeping women and girls in their place. That's what this is really about.
You know, this isn't about caring for women and girls. It's about controlling them.
This is going to fall
on the most vulnerable women in our country. This is going to fall on poor women. It's going to fall on women of color. It's going to fall on young girls.
What country are they talking about? This is America. They should be, probably all of them. They love talking about women and girls. You know where women and girls are really in jeopardy right now? Tonight, Afghanistan. Horrible things are happening in Afghanistan that we helped create. Take a look.
In Afghanistan, in another sign of a return to hardline policies, the Taliban have ordered women to cover their faces when in public and have said that those not following the direction will be punished.
Yeah, burqas. It is the law. They waited a few months, and the restrictions go beyond having to wear essentially a garbage bag in public.
The Taliban has ordered that any woman going out in public will have to wear a burqa. This new rule is one of the most severe restrictions on women since the Taliban regained control last August. The decree also says women should only leave their homes when necessary. If they are caught breaking any of the rules in public, their male guardians or relatives can be taken to court and face up to 3 days of jail time.
Where's Mika Brzezinski on this? And Kirsten Gillibrand and all those other hysterical people talking about women and girls and my body controlling. Where are they? This is happening. You know why they're not talking about it? You know why? It really is incredibly simple and cynical, because talking about it highlights the failures of their Democrat president, Joe Biden, who was as wrong on this as wrong could be, and he created the vacuum for the Taliban to step in.
The likelihood there's going to be the Taliban overrunning everything and owning the whole country is highly unlikely. Our leaders did that in Vietnam when I got here as a young man. I will not do it in Afghanistan.
And he was wrong as wrong could be. He really was. And then what did he have to say for himself when everything went to pot?
But you don't think this could have been handled, this actually could have been handled better in any way? No mistakes?
No, I don't think it could have been handled in a way that we're going to go back in hindsight and look, but the idea that somehow there's a way to have gotten out without chaos ensuing, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how that happened.
He just said, and for months he was saying, that there would be no chaos like getting out of Vietnam, right? You heard? Lying, lost, and pathetic. And also, uncaring. Doesn't even have that empathy he told us about, right? Remember when they came home and looking at his watch, could not be bothered. We got some trouble on our hands, folks. We got some big trouble. I'm optimistic in the long run, though.